Thank you for joining us this evening. We will now begin with an opening statement from Coach Hurley and then go to questions. Again, use the raise hand function to indicate you have a question. When you're called on, please state your name and affiliation. Coach, a brief statement.
Yeah, obviously, big credit to Maryland. I thought those guys, in particular, offensively, they played a great first, probably 28 minutes, 30 minutes. Shot the cover off of it. And just I think they showed their experience, their quality. Ayala, we were scared to death of that matchup today. Just didn't really have anyone that could guard him. And, those guys are really seasoned, well-coached team that, really earned the win. I think we battled, we did what we did, we played the way we played the whole year. I wish we would have guarded better. And I think we dug that hole, when you get 18 offensive rebounds in the first half, and you miss that amount of layups at the rim. I think it had a demoralizing effect on us. But proud of the guys and the step that they took, this year. But obviously disappointed that we don't get a chance to play on Monday.
Thank you, Coach. Our first question comes from Wayne Norman. Wayne, go ahead and unmute yourself.
Hi, Coach. Wayne Norman, UConn Sports Network. You shot a season-low 32% from the floor. What were some of the elements of the Maryland defense that made it so hard to score?
Yeah, I mean, I think it was a tough matchup for us. We really struggle, against teams that switch a lot. There's not a ton that you could script when teams switch. It becomes kind of matchup ball, and just didn't have a lot of guys that could really win one-on-one matchups out there today. We weren't very decisive, just trying to go by people. And then when we did, we flipped some things up at the rim. But I think Wayne, I think a lot of it had to do with just the first half. When you miss that amount of shots, I've never seen a team get 18 offensive rebounds in a half. And I just think the amount of close-in shots we missed, I think, rattled us.
Our next question comes from Mike Anthony.
Hey, Dan, could you just talk about not only, two things, James's season and his night tonight?
Yeah, I mean, James is, his season, obviously had a brilliant start, and, the injury obviously set him back. James has been, obviously, for this program, has meant so much to rebuilding this thing from the mess that it was to back playing in March again, where UConn belongs. He's obviously been a huge factor in that. And listen, James is a young player. James is a sophomore player, which is still a young player in college basketball. This was a big spot. Morcell's an excellent defender. Those guys he's playing against at Maryland, those guys for the most part that were guarding him today were physical juniors and seniors. And I think he was a little bit indecisive at times tonight. And I just think overall we showed as a group we showed just our lack of experience, in a moment like this.
Our next question comes from Sean McFarland. Sean, go ahead and unmute yourself.
Hey, Dan, they shot 70% from deep tonight, I think 10 of 14 from three. Was it something they were doing? Was it that their 5-out offense, or was it just they were hot and that was that, or was it something that you guys couldn't do, I guess?
No, I mean, listen, we knew going in, this was not a great matchup for the way that we play defense. We've been a top 25, finished the season top 25 defensive team. And it's a bad fit versus a positionless, 5-out type of matchup. I mean, we play two conventional bigs, and this tournament is all about matchups. If they have a bad shooting night and we convert those offensive rebounds the way we were pounding them on the glass, it's a different game. But Wiggins goes 4 for 6, Ayala goes 3 for 5. They obviously I think they're a 35% shooting team from 3. They made 9 of 18, and I think when we started watching them, we knew that it was going to be an issue with the principles that we use defensively, matching up with a 5-out team.
All right, our next question comes from Wesley Charles Brown. Go ahead and unmute yourself.
Hey, Coach. I guess two sort of things. What kind of stuff was Eric Ayala able to do that sort of messed you guys up defensively? And for Maryland, obviously they don't have the same post presence you have. What kind of stuff did they do to sort of counter you guys inside?
Yeah, I mean they do a great job even on the switches, fronting. They just did a great job of fronting and sinking in, off whatever non-shooter we had on the court. And they're, when Morcell, Morcell's a beast. I mean, that guy is I love that guy. He's one of my favorite players in the country. Does so much for them, even though he ends up with 7, 7, and 4. That guy's just a winner and a great player. So when he switches to your bigs, I mean, that's not like a guard switching. That's a man down there. And he fronted it and made it hard for Adama to get position in there. It's not really Whaley's game to post up. And then Ayala, I mean, we were scared of what he was going to be able to do versus us because we've got, 2 point guards that, don't have great size or physicality. And then, once he was kind of overpowering those guys, Tyrese couldn't stay in front of him. And James, James has a long way to go as a defender. So he was just we knew he was going to be a problem, and he was exactly what we thought he was going to be.
Our next question comes from Dom Amore.
And given the context of where the program was when you got here, what the expectations at UConn are, the goals at UConn, and just the irregular, unconventional nature of the season, do you consider it a success now that you're at the end? Can you, despite the disappointing ending, can you call this a successful season?
Yeah, I mean, you're gutted here right now. Really disappointed with, this wasn't how I envisioned losing this one tonight. If we lost today, I was expecting us to just to perform better. To perform better under the lights. But listen, like a UConn team would normally do in these type of situations. But when I took the job and this thing was a disaster, you don't get to start back over with where you used to be. So, this year was a huge success for us. It doesn't feel like it right now because you're devastated with the way the evening went. But year 3, again, for me, compete at the top of the Big East, get back in the NCAA tournament is a huge hill to climb. Obviously, the next hill that you must climb when you're the head coach at UConn is to consistently be at the top of your league, consistently be in this tournament, and have your team advance in this tournament. We're not there yet. And I think you could see, you could see, some of our warts throughout the year if you've followed us, especially when we've stepped up against a better team. We've got a lot more to do as a program in terms of, recruiting and developing, and continuing to increase the talent here and, just continuing to grow as a program. But yeah, this was a huge success. It's hard to say when you got this on your chest and, with everything Coach Calhoun did and Kevin and what Gino does. But yeah, the reality of our season was it was a huge step forward and a huge success, but it certainly isn't going to feel like that for the next few days.
Next question comes from Charlotte Carroll.
Hey, Dan, kind of just to follow up on that, actually, what did you say to the group after the game, or what was that kind of atmosphere like following the loss?
Yeah, you know what? Usually there's a lot of tears. I think it was a different locker room than Creighton. You know, Creighton there was a lot of emotion or a lot of tears because it was such a hard fought battle. We were like right in there. Obviously, lead late, and then we obviously we squander it. So there was a lot of tears and a lot of emotion. I think there were a lot of just a lot of guys in that locker room that are feeling just really disappointed in how we played today. Just their perform. I think that they're just kind of stunned that we didn't play better.
All right, Coach, that will do it. Thank you for your time and congrats on a fine season.
Thank you very much. I appreciate everybody all year. You guys have been great. Thank you.
We'll be joined momentarily by Isaiah Whaley. Please use this time to raise your hand if you have a question. We're now joined by Isaiah Whaley, and we'll begin the press conference. Again, use the raise hand function to indicate you have a question. Our first question goes to Christopher Heidel. Go ahead and unmute yourself.
Hey, Isaiah, sorry for the tough loss tonight against Maryland. What did you see? You guys came in the second half. Seemed like you guys were playing a little bit better. What did you guys see in the second half to get yourself, in the ballgame? You're in there by 5 minutes to go.
We were just trying our hardest to just keep doing what we do by offensive rebounding and trying to play our hardest on defense, and credit to them, they was making a lot of shots. So we were just trying to get more involved offensively and trying not to settle. So, but credit to them as well, though.
Our next question comes from Wayne Norman.
Hi, Isaiah. Wayne Norman, UConn Sports Network. Can you talk about the frustration factor early in the game when you got all those offensive rebounds and very little to show for it? Is there a time when it just like starts to play on your brain?
Yeah, it's really frustrating when you get a lot of offensive rebounds and not really a lot of points from it. So that was really frustrating. But I'm proud of my team for being tough and keep on offensive rebounding though.
Our next question is from Wesley Charles Brown.
Hey Isaiah, Maryland obviously had a really efficient night shooting the ball, and you guys sort of struggled, especially early, to sort of keep up with that. I guess what sort of goes through your mind trying to stop a team that's so efficient, shooting over 50% from the field and from three?
Mainly just trying to make it hard for them, and we try to turn up the pressure a little bit, try to force them to get turnovers and stuff. But credit to him again by just shooting the ball really well. We knew they got really good players, so we try to let the players that don't shoot like the highest percentages shoot a little bit more. But credit to them, they even made shots too. So yeah.
Our next question comes from Gary Graves.
Yeah, I guess you all played a physical style, and that showed with getting all those early offensive rebounds. But was Maryland one of the more physical teams that they kind of answered that a little bit, just kind of threw you all off your game offensively?
No, they just they switched a lot of things, and it's not really any play calls a lot for them switching everything. And we've played a lot of physical teams this year, especially in the Big East. But they're a really good defensive team, but they're not the most physical team we done played.
Our next question is from Dom Amore.
Yeah, Isaiah, when the disappointment of tonight fades, how will you view this season?
I view it as a big stepping stone, big step, especially for the program, and I'm proud of everybody for sticking to it. We went through a lot this year, especially with the COVID pauses, and everybody was going through stuff individually, but we stuck through it, and we just kept fighting. So I see this as a big step for the program, and it's only up for him from here.
Next question comes from Charlotte Carroll.
Isaiah, Coach had talked about the different, I guess, locker room atmosphere following the Creighton loss and tonight. How tough was this for you guys as a team, just given everything that this season has been?
It's really tough. It feels it feels weird. It feels like it hasn't ended yet, but it's tough though. Everybody's feeling it, but we've built a strong bond with each other, so we're gonna support each other and stick together.
We have time for one or two more questions for Isaiah. If you'd like to ask, please raise your hand. All right, Wesley Charles Brown.
I guess another one. Obviously, Maryland doesn't have the same bigs that you guys have inside. What were they able to do inside to sort of keep the play even despite the rebounding margin?
They were able to, double down on the post and front the post, and we missed a lot of shots, so they were able to get the rebounds for off our missed shots. So they're a real physical, a tough team as well. So yeah.
All right, Isaiah, I believe that will do it. Congratulations on a fine season, and thank you for your time tonight.
Thank you.
That's it for this post-game news conference. A transcript of Coach Hurley's interview will be provided by ASAP Sports. at www.ncaa.com/transcripts. You can also find a recording of this press conference on the Digital Media Hub at www.ncaa.veritone.com. Thank you for joining us. Have a great night.